Daf Yomi Tractate Sanhedrin, page 52a, part 2. Rabbi Eliezer Amar, Asya Sreifa, Ibnei Aharon, Mala Halan Sreifas Neshama V'Guf Kayam, Afkan Sreifas Neshama V'Guf Kayam. Rabbi Elazar says that there is a different source for this method of burning. It is derived from a verbal analogy between the burning that is described in this context and the burning that is described with regard to the deaths of Nadav and Avihu, the sons of Aaron. See Leviticus 10:6. Just as their Nadav and Avihu were killed by the burning of the soul, but the body remained intact, so too here the execution is carried out by the burning of the soul, but the body remains intact. Mandi alef me'adas koirach minole dichsiv esmachtos hachatayim ha'ela benafshotam shenishmatan nisrefet deguf kayam. The Gemara asks, from where does the one who derives that burning means this kind of death from the assembly of Korach derive that their bodies were not burned? The Gemara answers, he derives it from that which is written, and the fire pans of these men who have sinned with their souls. Numbers 17:3. Which indicates that only their souls were burned, but their bodies were intact. Ve'ida ha'hisrev mamashi umay benafshoisom shinschai v'schreif on iski nafshoisom. The Gemara asks, and how does the other sage, who does not derive that burning means this kind of death from here, interprets the deaths of the assemblies of Korah? The Gemara answers that that burning was actual burning of their bodies. And what is the meaning of the term with their souls? It means that they were deemed liable to be killed by the burning due to matters of sustaining their souls. In other words, they sinned because Korah helped them fulfill their bodily desires, and consequently, they followed him. K'deresh Lakish, Demeresh Lakish, Mai dichtiv, B'chanfe la'agi ma'og, Charok alai shinemo. Bishvil chalufa shenifu lekoirach aleske legimo. Cher alein sar shel gehenam shino. This latter explanation is in accordance to the statement of Reish Lakish. As Reish Lakish says, what is the meaning of that which is written? With the flattering mockeries of spitefulness, they gnash at me with their teeth. Psalms 35, verse 16. It means that because of the flattery of those people who flattered Korach over matters of eating, meaning because of food and drink that he would give them, the minister of Gehenna gnashed his teeth over them, as they eventually sinned and fell into his hands. The word ma'og is interpreted homiletically here as alluding to uga, cake. Uman dialef mivnei Aharon minale dichtiv vayamutu lifnei Hashem ke'ein mita. The Gemara asks, and from where does the one who derives that burning means this kind of death from the sons of Aaron derive that their bodies were not burned? The Gemara answers, he derives it from that which is written, and the fire came out from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. Leviticus 10:2. The term "and they died" indicates that it was similar to a natural death in which the body remains intact. Ve'idach ahus reifa mamish have. ומאי דכתיב וימותו, יתחיל והוא מגבי, כאין מיתה. תתניא, אבא יוסי בן דוסתאי, אומר, שני חוטין של אש יצאו מבית קודש הקדושים ונחלקו לארבע ונכנסו שניים בחותמו של זה ושניים בחותמו של זה ושרפו. The Gemara asks, and how does the other sage, who does not derive that burning means this kind of death from here, interpret the death of the sons of Aaron? The Gemara answers, that burning was actual burning. In that case, what is the meaning of that which is written, and they died? It means that the fire started from within them, and therefore it was similar to a natural death which occurs within the person, as it is taught in Braita. Abba Yossi ben Dostai says, 2 threads of fire came out of the Holy of Holies and split into 4, and 2 entered the nostrils of this one, and the other 2 entered the nostril of that one, and the threads of fire burned them. V'hachetiv v'tochal otam v'lo bigdehem. Or asks, but isn't it written, and devoured them? The usage of the expanded term v'tochal otam instead of the terser v'tochlem indicates a limitation. Only they were consumed to the exclusion of their bodies. The Gemara answers, the verse means that the fire devoured them, but not their clothes. The Gemara asks, and let us derive the correct method of execution by burning from the halacha of the bull offerings that are burned. Just as there the references to actual burning, so too here, perhaps there should be actual burning. Mistavra me adam have le lemelav. Sheken adam chote neshama pigul. The Gemara answers, it stands to reason that one should derive the halacha with regard to capital punishment from the death of a person, either from the assembly of Korach or the sons of Aaron, as they share common elements. They deal with a person, a sinner, and a soul that is taken through burning, meaning the person dies as a result of the burning. Furthermore, the halacha of an offering that was sacrificed with the intent to consume it after it is its designated time, pigul, is not relevant in either case. Whereas it is relevant to bull offerings that are burned. Aderabe parim anisrafim havale nemelaf sheken mach sheledoires. The Gemara asks, on the contrary, one should derive the halacha with regard to capital punishment from the bull offerings that are burned, as both enable the fulfillment of a mitzvah, whereas the deaths of the assembly of Korach and the sons of Aaron were not mitzvot. Furthermore, both of these are fixed halachot for all future generations, whereas the deaths of the assembly of Korach and the sons of Aaron were one-time incidents. Hanach nefishin, the Gemara answers, those elements that are shared by capital punishment and the deaths of the assembly of Korach and the sons of Aaron are more numerous than the elements that are shared by capital punishment and the bulls that are burned. Therefore, the halacha is derived from the assembly of Korach and the sons of Aaron. Man di yolef mi'anas Korach, man my time lo yolef mi bnei Aaron, Sofer mamish, have v'nilef bnei. The Gemara asks, with regard to the one who derives this halacha from the assembly of Korach, What is the reason he does not derive it from the sons of Aaron? Because, in his opinion, that was actual burning. But, if this is the case, let us derive from the death of the sons of Aaron that execution by burning should be performed with actual burning. Why does he derive it from the assembly of Koach that hot lead should be used? Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rabbi Baravu, Amar Krav, Yehavta le'acha kamoicha, Bror lo misa yafeh. Rav Nachman says that Rabbi Baravu says, the verse states, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus 19:18. That's a good gematria to know. What's the gematria of that? 820. Okay. Brar lo misiyafe. Nachman Bar says that Rabbi Baravu says the verse states, "And you shall love your neighbor yourself," Leviticus 19:18, which teaches that even with regard to a condemned prisoner, one should select a good or compassionate death for him. The method of burning described in the Mishnah is certainly faster and less painful than the burning of the entire body. The Gemara asks, and since there is the halacha of Reb Nachman, why do I need the verbal analogy? Even without this proof, execution by burning would have been performed with hot lead, as is a less painful form of death. Lav schrefa hi im mishum yehavta kamocha lapish le chavile zimoros ki hechi delischof leagad. The Gemara answers, were it not for the verbal analogy, I would say that a death that includes the burning of the soul, but the body itself remains intact, is not burning at all, and that it does not fulfill the limits of execution by burning. And if it is necessary to alleviate the condemned one's pain due to the halacha of "and you shall love your neighbor as yourself," Leviticus 19:18, let the court increase for him the bundles of branches, so that will burn quicker. Therefore, the verbal analogy teaches us that even internal burning is regarded as burning, and once this has been established, it is taken into consideration that he must be executed in the least painful way. Ukvar hayu Moshe v'Aaron mehalechin ben derech v'nadav d'Avihu mehalech achreihen v'chol Yisrael achreihen amar lo nadav d'Avihu ema sa yamus l'shnei zekenim halalu ve'ani ata nahig et hador amar lehen HaKadosh Baruch Hu hanireh mi kover es mi amar Rav Papa hainu da'amri inshi Nefishi gamali savi d'ti'ini mashche yehugane. Amar Rabbi Elazar. Okay, that's the next part. Apropos the deaths of Nadav and Avihu, an Agadic midrash on this subject is quoted, and it had already happened that Moses and Aaron were walking on their way, and Nadav and Avihu were walking behind them, and the entire Jewish people were walking behind them. And Nadav said to Avihu, when will it happen that these two old men will die, and you and I will lead the generation, as we are their heirs? The Holy One, blessed be He, said to them, we shall see who buries whom. Rav Papa says this explains the adage of what people say. Many are the old camels that are loaded with the skins of young camels. Amar Rabbi Elazar says,